Hi all, welcome back. This is a quick video to help ledger-based users clear democracy votes. It will touch on some aspects of democracy voting in brief, just to put the problem into context. Okay, so the presentation has three sections. We will cover democracy voting again in brief. We will examine the issue that ledger users may experience, and finally we look at a resolution for the issue. Democracy voting. Any Polkadot holder can vote on referenda with bonded funds. Voting places an additive lock on the bond, preventing funds from being transferred. So that word additive, I will discuss it a little more in the next slide. This lock period depends on the conviction that is selected when the vote is made. So if we look at the image to the right, we will see that for different conviction, and this conviction really multiplies your vote or makes your vote larger or more potent. And the trade-off is that you will be locked, your funds will be locked for longer. So that means you can't transfer it out. So the options are pretty obvious from the image, but there's one that's not displayed, 0.1x, and there is no lockup period if that is selected. Okay, so let us discuss this additive aspect. So to appreciate that, you need to understand that you can vote on more than one referenda at a time. The locking periods run concurrently. So it's not a stacked effect such that, I locked for 28 days with my previous vote, and this vote I'm going to lock for 28 days. So we add them up and, it's locked for that, sum the period. The locks actually run concurrently. As we can see in the table to the right, we have 3 referenda that we voted on, and the locks are running concurrently. Okay, so that's a bit of motivation for you to vote. All right, so what have we done so far? We have voted. We understand that there's a lock and it's running concurrently. We need to, let's say the lock has now expired. What happens? So when votes have expired, they require clearing before funds are unlocked. So there's a step, which is a manual step, that the locks need to be cleared. So these locks can be observed from the Polkadot.js accounts page. Expanding the account details will reveal the amount locked as well as the referenda of any expired votes. So if we look at the top right, we can see I have expanded. There is referenda 29. That's the number 29. It's 5,000 dot locked at 1x, and it says this lock has expired. So my vote on referenda 29 has expired. That lock has expired, and the funds should be available once I clear this lock. So how do I clear this lock? So the votes can be cleared by selecting Clear Expired Democracy Locks from the menu on the applicable account. And I have an image of that to the right. Sounds easy, and it usually is, except for if you are a ledger user. So the previous steps work well for any account that was created on Polkadot.js, a subkey, whatever the case may be. But if you're a ledger user, we have a challenge in our little niche, and it's called batch calls, right? So ledger accounts, however, can't use this function because it relies on 2 transactions that are combined in a batch. So when we try to execute this clear democracy locks, we will get an error that batch call is not supported, right? So what we need to do we need to execute each one of the calls that are in the batch manually. And I'm going to guide you on how to do that. The first step, however, is that we look at the image to the right. We need to go to the Developer tab, Extrinsics. Once you're there, I want you to set up your screen exactly as this one is. So of course, you won't be using Paranodes. You'll be using your account. And you select on the first drop-down list, Democracy. And the second is Remove Vote. And on the little box that pops up, you put the referendum number. So in my case, I'm putting referendum number 29. That's the one I want to remove the lock for. And you hit Submit Transaction. You sign it on your ledger. That's step 1. If you have more than one referenda, you repeat this step and you keep clearing your votes until all the expired locks are cleared. And of course, submit transaction in between. Once this step has been completed, I would like you to now go to Democracy and select Unlock Target. And the target in this case is the account that the locks were previously on or still on, right? And once you do that, submit transaction, we get to the end and you're finished. Okay, so something that you can learn from this is that when you encounter batch call not supported or batch not supported as a ledger user, I recommend that you expand the batch, the call itself. A window pops up, you can expand on the batch and read the extrinsics that are in there and execute them manually. It's inconvenient, but not impossible. If you have any issues, please reach out to me in Discord or Element or Reddit or Twitter, and I will be glad to help you or do a video like this if I believe that there is reusability. So we ledger users, we got our cold wallet. We have a few disadvantages, but we can work through this. Thank you for viewing and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.